This episode is sponsored by LastPass.
This is kind of a highly requested device. When I first spotted it, I was like, that's an interesting design they've got there. I would love to take a look. So I think, did you get in touch with these people, Willie Do? Willie Do, ladies and gentlemen. To the rescue, as usual. He reached out to Oppo. We have the Reno. Check this guy out. As you guys know, I recently switched smartphones. I'm back into the Android universe for the time being. And who knows, maybe this one is compelling enough to justify a switch over to this one next. All right, so 10x hybrid zoom, 6.6-inch OLED display. That's cool. Ultra night mode and 4,065 milliamp hour battery with VOOC Flash Charge 3.0. Okay, so that's some exciting stuff right there. All right, so pricing, Will says starts at around $575. So that's kind of a compelling price point, a little bit below your typical flagship. Mirrored finish on the black with like a gradient color thing happening from grayish, bluish, purplish. What's cool here, the camera unit is completely flush with the glass back. No camera bulge whatsoever. All right, so update on the zoom characteristics. It's gonna be 5 times optical 10x hybrid. This is called the O dot. My guess was that it was to elevate the back glass panel of the phone up off the table a little bit so that the lens section wouldn't scratch. And according to Will, that's the case. That's exactly what that is for. It moves a little bit because of that, but only if you tap the top of the screen. If you tap anywhere near the bottom where your keyboard would be, it still sits flush. Ooh, they gave like a pretty cool looking case. Actually, that's a better than usual case for a freebie that's in the package. You can now see this giant cutout on the top. That's because this one has a different take. You're gonna see it in a minute. The entire back channel here cut out. It's kind of cool. Got a quick charge VOOC power brick. You also have a USB Type-C cable. There's a SIM tool inside of here, and there's also a headset. It looks a little bit better than usual. It fits in the ear, and you have multiple ear tips in order to get the right fit. Looking at the device, you have your power switch over on this side, and it's indicated here by this cool little green color. The bottom is your Type-C connector, as well as your SIM card tray, speaker unit in that location as well. Volume buttons up, down, over on the other side, and then if you look at the top of the device, you get your first sense of where this pop-up camera is going to elevate. Take that right away. You're going to realize this is a full display situation. I mean, we're basically we're in the era now of full screen displays. No notch necessary. Full screen, no notch, no cutout, just a clean look. And this one is 6.6 inches OLED, so it's actually a pretty nice looking display as well. This display actually very similar to the OnePlus. These might very well be the same display or quite similar. I will say on the OnePlus device, it curves over the edge. Like the glass curves to each side. This one is flat, but they're very comparable and they're the same size. Fingerprint setup, it's a in-display situation, optical based fingerprint. You can see we have the Color OS skin on here, which is quite a bit different. I mean, look at that. It's quite a bit different. It got some iOS inspiration in there, but even there it's different. The display looks good, especially after boosting the brightness. So the OnePlus has a resolution advantage, but they're both OLED, and you're probably not gonna pick up too much of a difference. Now, what about the magic trick? Obviously, the camera module, that's what most people are interested in. Whoa, and you can actually get a glimpse of yourself there, Jack. I don't know if you noticed. There you are. This one, the whole top moves. Now, you may recall previous Oppo devices, some of the first I ever looked at with motorized cameras, the whole back piece kind of moved up. The Oppo Find X, which was one of the first I ever looked at with a motorized camera. This one is sort of inspired by that in the fact that a lot more of the top portion moves. It just kind of sneaks out of there. So what about the quality of the thing? Oh, I can tell already. I mean, man, it's got some serious beauty features, actually. I should just mention, like, independently. I could get myself souped up, Jack. All natural. And what do we have to say? You know what? That's not bad. That's pretty good, actually. That's very, I would say that's in line with our expectations. You can pick up like specks on my shirt, like specks of dust. So far, so good on the front-facing camera. Now, the rear one, so you have the 5X optical, the 10X hybrid. And if I click this button here, we go to 2, we go to 6, we go to 10. The focusing distance on the 6X, this is not going to be great for like macro stuff. If you wanted to shoot a plant like this one or a bug or something, this is super wide. Boom. 1X, 2X, 6X, 10X. And the focusing distance comes into play again. Now let's keep in mind at the 10X, it's a hybrid situation, so there might be a bit of quality loss, and it looks like there is a tiny bit, at least in our sample right here. And you get an idea for just how versatile a camera like this is. You can get all these different perspectives. So the only other implementation similar to this one would be on the P30 Pro from Huawei, in which they have a 5X optical zoom as well. And then, of course, the whole hybrid situation that happens beyond that. Gives you a lot of versatility from a photo perspective. Fully wide. 1X. 2X. 6X. 10X. You know what, actually, that picture's not bad at all. And that's at 10X. I could see, maybe if you go to a lot of like music shows or something like this, Jack, you're far away from the stage and sporting events. And to get an idea of just how much closer you are, all we got to do is scroll back a couple and realize, oh man, this is 1X. This is your stock. This right here is your stock perspective. I mean, that's a totally different situation. So, versatility. I think that's the name of the game with this product. What's the story of this phone? At this point, it's full display, motorized camera, tons of zoom, and a decent spec list, and a price point that also happens to be lower than the sub-flagships or the competitive flagships or the flagship killers, as they're called, like the OnePlus 7 Pro. So that's the angle here. All right, so we'll load up a Lou later video here and see how the audio sounds for dialogue. Recent upload. The little thing with all kinds of thermal issues actually. Whoa. Fried. This was Apple's take on like a modern workstation computer, that they were going to have desktop class graphics. OnePlus 7 Pro comparison, since I have it here. A lot of people at the time had wanted something. That sounds better. The Oppo sounds better. Cheaper prices sounds better. And it's coming from a guy where this thing comes in. But I mean, you've obviously, at this point, you've seen it. It's more clarity. It's more detail. It's just a slightly better speaker experience. You have a Snapdragon 855, Adreno 640 GPU. You can get it with 6 or 8 gigs of RAM and 128 or 256 of storage. It's kind of an interesting package, if I dare say so myself. This Color OS thing, that's a hurdle to overcome. I would, of course, go in here, install a launcher. I would configure. I would customize. Remind me, Will, you said $575 USD. That's a compelling package, really, when you think about it. So it's also got a night mode on it. I'd say the package is pretty compelling. Now I'm starting to understand why this was a requested device. It got a lot of interest from you guys. $669 for the phone on my left, OnePlus 7 Pro. $575 for the phone on my right. You don't get the 90 hertz display. And that thing, it doesn't show up on camera. I mean, I know I've only been using this for a little bit, but it gives you this sense of speed. It's not a huge deal. It shouldn't be a deal breaker, but it's something worth noting. What can I say? Choices, they're out there in the world. It's also interesting and exciting. And here's a new one, a new choice to add to the mix. Maybe you're looking at this now. A little bit of extra reach. Coachella, the whole story. Who knows? I think it's pretty cool.
This episode is sponsored by LastPass. With LastPass, you don't have to write, remember, or reset your passwords. All you have to do is remember your master password. When you open an app or a site, LastPass will fill in your passwords and usernames for you. You can use it with a browser extension or with an iOS app or Android app. Your data is more secure because now you don't have to use the same password for a million different accounts. And if someone else needs access to your account, you can share the passwords through LastPass. You also have unlimited password storage and it syncs across all devices. You can get a free trial with the link down below.